join?
Hey everybody, welcome back to Dicing with Death, where I botch all the intros. But luckily Ryan stays quiet, so I don't have to mute him.
Was I not muted? Did
You
I
were
miss my
not
opportunity?
muted. Yes. Safety kneel. Alright, so we are back. You wake up later in the night, or not later, as the sun rises through the hot and sticky swamp.
No incidents.
No
I'll take it.
incidents.
I gain 1 HP, right? Nothing happened yesterday.
Yes. Yes, you do.
So now if I'm lucky, I can survive maybe 2 hits from a kobold.
And give me a
Oh yeah,
D10 for your buddy. He needs a 5 or higher to gain an HP.
a 4 or higher.
No, a 5 or
right?
higher. Because if you have one, if you're at -1, you can still get you if you roll
Okay,
1.
yeah. 9. So he does recover. He's at -3.
Mm-hmm. Oops.
I may get a henchman out of this.
Maybe.
Unfortunately, when we get to town, I don't have enough money to pay for anyone's in room.
Okay. Bohep tells you all that are gathered. The swamp is not too much further. It's just another few miles, and we will be through. I think we will be okay.
So there's like a campsite just a few miles from town.
Yeah, it's a few miles. That's what he says. Do you bring this to his
Could be
attention?
could be more like 6 or 7 miles, and at the pace we're going, that's still probably a couple hours.
Mm-hmm. That's most likely the situation. So, you proceed through the swamp on your last day.
Yeah. So I'll probably be behind the lead wagon, between the first wagon, or between the mercenary wagon and the first of the merchant wagons.
Yeah. That next day is. Oh, sorry. Where did my dice go? Cool. You walk through the swamp for a while. When you come across a bubbling tar pit, you
in the
see.
middle of the road?
No. It's off to the side of the road, but there is this black, goopy, thick substance, and there is a crane that has landed near it and gotten one foot stuck and is trying to, flapping its wings and trying to pull itself out. Bohep smiles and looks at you and says, "Do not go in. You will not come out."
I gathered as much.
I have seen one of these tar pits set on fire from a fire lizard before. They will burn for months until a snow comes or until a rain comes and puts them out.
Most interesting. How far off the road is this tar pit?
30 feet.
I don't think I have any. Ooh. So like while the caravan's slowly chugging along, do I think I could run out to the tar pit?
Yeah, easy.
All right. So I have an empty vial of lamp oil. So I started with 3 vials of lamp oil. I'm down to 2. I would assume that the empty vial is probably still in my bag.
Mm-hmm.
Does that seem logical?
Seems logical.
So my plan is to run out and try and fill up this lamp oil vial with tar.
Okay.
So Bohep's like, don't go out there, you'll get stuck. And I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't dream of it. Oh wait. Yeah, so I'm gonna approach the tar pit cautiously.
Okay. Give me a perception check.
Yeah.
Hell, give me a perception check at +5.
Is this where it ends?
Maybe.
Barely. Thank you for that +5.
Well, I mean, there's nothing moving. As you start going through, you notice that at a certain point, your foot steps on some squishy ground, and all the ground here is kind of squishy. But as you pull it up, it's a little bit stickier than you'd like. And instead of just like
All right.
moving forward, you actually take a step back and
Yeah, I'm
poke
gonna.
the ground a little bit more. And it seems the
Yeah, that's what I was
ground
gonna
is
do.
soaked with tar here.
Yeah. So instead of going all the way out to the tar pit, I'm gonna back up to like stable ground and then use the point of my staff to like puncture the ground and see if I can like dig a little mini tar pit that I can use to fill up my flask with the substance. It may not be quite as pure as the big pit, but
You managed to dig a
gather a
little
sample.
hole and gather a sample. Would you like to fill up the flask all the way, or just like a sample of the fluid?
Probably most of the way. Yeah. So flask of tar.
Nice.
Cool, cool.
Okay.
Say like 1 pound. I think that does actually drop me to movement rate 9. Oh no, I
Okay.
think I was already at movement rate 9 with my big heavy spellbook. So I do only get 90 yards around in combat unless I can find somewhere to set my shit.
Okay. Each
All
of the
right.
other guys is.
All right, so I run back to the road to catch up with the caravan.
One of the spearmen and one of the bowmen is now conscious, giving you guys or not conscious, but like able to fight, giving you a
Oh, yeah.
better fighting force than you had the day before. The road continues, and after a little while, Bohep excitedly says, "Ah, the end is near. We are just a half mile away."
Cue the planned encounter. Ambushed at the gates.
Ambushed at the gates. No, but what you do come across is a shattered wagon a few feet down the road, or a few
I'm
yards down the
shattered.
road. It looks like a wrecking ball has come through and broken it to pieces. It's just the wagon is shattered. There's a horse that has been ripped apart and almost eaten to the bone, but not quite. It looks. I mean, it looks like a pack of lions or something came through here and like tore the flesh from the horse's body. But it's just the one wagon and the one horse and nothing else.
I'll spend a few minutes investigating the wagon. I assume the rest of the caravan does as well.
Yeah, the caravan kind of comes to a stop because you have to move the wagon bits off the path for the carts to go over it well. In the wagon are a couple of sacks. It looks like vegetables, but they've since wilted and kind of they didn't do too well in the swamp heat.
Yeah. Are there? Wait, did you said
I take it
there's
back.
a horse
Potatoes. There were sacks and sacks of potatoes. They're still fine, but the
Which
cart
way is the
itself has
wagon
been shattered.
facing? Towards or away from town?
Towards town. Well, towards you guys, as if it was coming
Okay.
down the maw.
Yeah. You said there was a horse corpse, but are there human bodies?
No.
Interesting. Any signs that this might have been a creature that did this, like claw marks or teeth marks?
Give
or
me an intelligence
leftover
check.
fur. 31.
You see three little spears that you almost mistook for. Well, not you, but other people seem to have mistook for sections of the wagon. You recognize that they're just like crude wooden spears, like the kobolds had. You know, just chiseled down to a point without an actual arrowhead on it or a spearhead on it. Among the wreckage of the wagon.
I'm I need to get that spellcraft proficiency. I got my empty slot, but I'm wondering if magic could have blown this cart apart. I guess there's probably nothing I can even roll, but it seems logical to me.
I mean, there would be no way to really prove it, but that's definitely a possibility.
Yeah. I'm keeping this thought to myself. Okay. Does the rest of the caravan say anything?
You hear people just kind of muttering and talking to themselves, but no one. I mean, unless you talk to anyone, no one provides any
Yeah.
information.
Does Bohep stop the caravan, or do we
I mean,
keep
yeah,
on
the
going?
caravan has to stop to clear the path. The wagons cannot
Okay.
cross over the wreckage.
All right. So I'll help clear the wreckage. I mean, I'm pretty weak,
Okay.
so I'm just like tossing a few pieces of wood here and there. I'll make small talk with one of the guards while
Okay.
we're doing this. And have you seen anything like this before?
The guard slowly nods. Yes.
Really?
It's uncommon, but rarely an adventurous soul, to put it nicely, stupid person, to put it more bluntly, thinks they can traverse the maw by themselves and a handful of bodyguards. They usually don't make it very far. Every now and then
What?
some will make it all the way through, but it is dangerous.
But the wagons are always left like this. What could do
Oh,
this?
the wagon, no, no. The wagon shattered like this is unusual. At this point, you notice some of the farmers that are coming through here are gathering up the empty or the sacks of potatoes and loading them in their carts, trying to
Whatever.
get a little bit of
They said
extra
there was
money.
no room for a human body, but they're finding room for the potatoes.
The human body
Best.
is a very different shape. You can just wedge potatoes anywhere.
All right. Okay. So it has he seen something like this before? He said unusual. Did he mean unheard of or unusual?
It is unusual for people to make their way through. It is definitely heard of.
No, I meant the
Oh,
cart. Like he
the
said, it's
cart
certainly
shattered like
unusual.
this. I no, I have not seen something like this before. I mean, not around here. It makes sense a large creature could come through, maybe a giant or a hydra. Just bashes the cart, steps on it. Maybe even an angry fire lizard, although I see no scorch marks, so I think not. There are other large creatures in the swamp that could bash such things to bits.
Yes, yes. All right.
Maybe just a
I,
giant
I
lizard. Those exist here too.
yeah. All right. I don't think I say anything more. We clear up the cart, and unless anything harasses us, probably continue on our way.
Okay. You continue on your way through and make it out the other end of the maw. It is with relief that you come to the forested section at the end. The swamp leaves way or gives way to surprisingly not snow, just woods.
Nice.
It is a maybe a little bit of a chilly section over here. The air is cooler than you would like, but maybe that's just because you're coming from the like blazing heat and humidity of the maw. But out here it is pleasantly cool. Well, a little too cool. And you stride into the city of what do we call this place again? Papati. Very similar to Keygate, it has a large wall built up in a semicircle facing the maw to keep creatures out. And you see the massive gates at the front open up to allow the caravan through. Out front, or as you come through, there is a woman who runs towards the caravan, and you can overhear her conversation with Bohep.
Is she armored?
She is
Armed and
not
armored?
armored. She asks if her husband's cart made it through the swamp. They had left a few days ago. And Bohep gives a shake of his head, puts a hand on her shoulder, and says, they only made it a few miles, and not even. There were no bodies to recover. I am sorry. And then just kind of pushes her out of the way and marches into the city with you.
I'll. Yeah. Yeah. I suspect that they may be alive, prisoners to these kobolds and their wicked taskmaster somewhere in the maw, but I'm not going to give her that hope.
All right, what do? You are in Papati.
Yeah. Does Bohep go about his? I mean, I guess I'll
I mean,
say goodbye. I want to ask him. So when do you plan to run the maw next?
we have lost some men. We will need some time to recuperate. I would expect 5 days.
Is there somewhere where I may find you in that time?
I will be at the Travelers Inn.
Traveler's Inn.
It is, he points with a spear, just there, and it's like a half block away. There's a
Hmm.
big 4-story inn with a heavy wooden sign kind of hanging and flapping gently.
Hmm.
Something must have recently run into it.
Like, is the sign broken?
No, it's just moving and it's not windy.
Oh,
It's
strange.
yeah.
Or maybe they're too lazy to make the animations in the game consistent. All right. Okay. So I will note where the Traveler's Oasis or the Traveler's Inn is.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna get a lay of the land, so like take a little walk around town.
Okay. As I said before, it's a fairly similar size to Keygate. And where is our tavern music or town music? There we go. And people are hustling and bustling about their things. You actually do get approached as you start walking around by a group of children. And they come up to you and go, Mister, is it true what they say that there's ice falling from the sky in the south?
Why, yes, indeed.
What's it look like? Did you bring anything with you? I don't see any ice on you.
No, it is many miles on the other side of the maw. But it comes from the sky, and I pick up a little fistful of dust and sprinkle it, and it accumulates on the ground in great masses of white powder. It chills you to the bone, and with it, it brings great beasts, yetis, and ice crystal monster. And I'll go off and, I don't know, entertain the children for a few minutes.
They are eating it up. And eventually you're going to have to excuse yourself because they just want to know more.
Yeah, I probably run out of stories pretty quick.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Okay.
somehow managed to shoo them off and continue wandering around town.
What are you looking for? What can I provide you with?
I don't know. I was just trying to figure out what sort of town this is. I'm dead broke, so I need to find a way to make money. So I'm going to look and see what sorts of, if
You
any,
also,
like shops.
I believe, owe someone about 200 gold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not to mention Rockbreaker. Probably owe him for the time he spent in prison on my account.
Racking up quite a debt here.
And you're not giving me enough loot.
So the buildings are all fairly tall. It seems that this city has decided to build up rather than to build out. They're made mostly with stones, and they look fairly old. Lots of moss and vines growing up them. Thatched roofs abound with, but then again, you'll see the occasional place that has a red tiled roof coming down off of the edges of it. The streets are well maintained and paved, and you see parading through the streets now and then fine nobles and knights in shining armor.
Interesting. Can we take a mini break right now?
Absolutely.
All right. Give me a few minutes. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I guess we'll just see you guys on the other side. Hold on.